Oh man, it was so, I don't know. I think I'll remember it for the rest of my life. And there's not too many times I can say that. But this is a moment where I told her, I said, "Hey, Bella, mommy and I have to walk. You're going to be okay. I'm going to do this and we're going to get back up. We're going to get you dressed and bathed." And I spoke to her calmly and reassuringly. And she did something she had never done before. She looked at me with like love in her eyes. And she reached up and she just put her hand on my face, like, "I understand, Daddy." Like that was her way of, oh, it chokes me up just thinking about it. Hey, Michelle being domesticated, sweeping the floor. Housekeeper is sick, so Michelle's having to pick up the slack. Hey, so I want you to take a look at this. Now, I know normally this would not be a good idea to advertise security or your vulnerabilities, but I don't have anything worth anyone robbing me over. But look, so here in Africa, this is a typical, wall that people keep around their houses. Excuse me. Most houses around here do have these very high walls. Matter of fact, nearly all of them. Here's Constantine wire. I think it has a place where you can hook up electricity, but it's not electrified. If somebody is willing to scale this wall, and they could, they could climb up on the next house, jump over to, see how close it is. I mean, if anybody wanted to really come in here, they can come in. Even with bars on every window and these 9-foot walls and Constantine wire. See, every window is okay. Now, I laugh because of the design. I didn't think about this when I moved in. See, I've got all this, that no one's going to get in here easily. But once they're in, it's smash and grab. So you have these windows that if anyone, just a hammer, boom, a stick, boom, they're in. Now, the only thing I have of worth is, like my PlayStation. So I know, and I don't have security. I have some cameras, but if I were to leave and somebody were to come in, I don't know how they'd run off with this 70-inch TV. That would be, I guess they could steal a little electronic. I guess they could steal my fan. So anyway, I had this, so what I did was I had my friend who makes tabernacles. So I had him as a favor to me, and I paid for it. I had him design me like a strong box. I could put a heavy duty lock on. It's made out of steel. It's very heavy. And still, even that, if somebody had a crowbar, I suppose they could just rip that off and then they're going to run off with my... This is the most expensive item I own, honestly. I don't have jewelry, cash. I don't keep any cash in the house. There's nothing that they would come in and steal. I guess they could steal diapers, my pillows, my cheap African furniture. There's nothing for them to steal. I guess they could steal my food, maybe my big ass freezer. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, so you just have to take precautions on what you can. But there was a guy here he was from Belgium, and he employed a lot of staff because he was trying to make a temporary agency. He ended up his business failed because I don't know why, but his home, he got robbed of all his computers, cash. They knew where everything was, but he had like 5 or 6 staff that lived in his house every day. So when he told me that his house got robbed, I immediately said, "Yeah, somebody that works for you did that." They didn't just. He had this big wall, Constantine wire, and it just kind of made me think that, whenever you're a white person here and you appear like people already assume I'm rich. I'm not rich. Like I am. Now here's what I'll say. I have enough money to live, but I still have to budget my groceries, budget my bills, be conscious of how much I run my air conditioner. I have to, keep some money for emergencies. Like we're waiting for our health insurance to kick in. I've had to take Bella to the hospital several times, and I had to pay cash. When you're here for your health care, you're going to pay cash. And so there's always things that come up. So I'm just like everybody else. For the average person, I'm struggling. I'm literally struggling. Now the The positive side is that, like I said, is I make enough. I wish I could make more. I have some limited time. I have time to go for walks. I have a nanny, a housekeeper. So they call it a nunu here. Michelle works full time, so I'm here. So I have intermittent time to myself. But for the most part, my 24/7, I'm with Bella. And being a father is a full-time job. I try to keep her engaged. I don't, I don't just sit her in front of a phone. Although she does watch cartoons at times when I have to be away. I've got to cook something. I've got to go to the bathroom. I've got to, be occupied with something else for a short period of time. Then I'll sit her in front of the TV and she can watch Masha and the Bear. Michelle does give her cell phone at times, like in the car. Sometimes you just have to entertain children, and she is almost 2 years old, so she needs a lot of attention. Children they need a lot of attention. So one of the things that, I just want to say that by and large, I don't know where this YouTube is going. My goal is not planned out. I don't have this elaborate plan of how I'm going to monetize. And if you look at my viewership, I have gotten over 1,200 subs now. It's grown quite a bit. My watch hours are up there. Still not enough to monetize. Now, I'm not looking to... Now, in order to be successful on YouTube, you have to follow a formula. I would say, a lot of people say, oh no, you just need your phone, this and that, and that's true. You can. There are some people who are able to do that. They are an expert in something. They provide videos of value to their viewers, or they're talking about modern dating, politics, gender, feminism, and they go and invest and they get this elaborate set. They have the camera, that's nice and sensitive, and they got the microphone. The sound is good. I'm not doing all that. I can't afford that. And I'm not an expert in anything. My goal is not to come on here and try to give people blanket advice. I don't want to talk about politics. Okay, that's a dead end. I know most people are like, politics. It's very divisive, and it's largely out of your control. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about this earthquake in Zimbabwe or Haiti? What are you going to do about the starving children over in Africa? If you're not going to do anything about it, or if you have no influence over it, why would you want to take that drama on yourself? And or just get on and talk, or I guess I could do reaction videos. I'm not doing that. That's just what everybody else is doing.
Find the video that you want to
I'm
react
trying to
copy the link and add it to either IG downloader or TikTok.
I want to thank the viewers that I have. I have an overwhelming, probably short list of viewers that are very positive. And they're long-term viewers that they always come and check in on me, and they, ask how I'm doing. Hey, great video, and I really appreciate that. That was like one of those things that keeps me going. So now I'm out going for a walk with Rex. I just want to show you. So here's another example of. Now we know these people. This guy has dogs, big dogs. You can hear him barking. He has a full-time security man that sits at his front gate. He has electrified fence. That's about the most you can do, and the man obviously works. He's a family man too. So he's not here 24 hours a day like I am. I am my own security. And I'm a healthy, large man, capable of violence if needed. And I've had to repel an intruder here a couple years ago. So I'm very capable, ex-military. I'm not saying I'm some kind of MMA fighter, but I would be a formidable force or opponent. Rex! Anyone who tries to come to my house, if it was a one-on-one situation. For most cases of security I can handle. And even the security here. Now, most Africans, this is just my anecdotal evidence of what I see. To be honest with you, most Africans aren't that big. I'm bigger than most Africans. So, sure, there's some big Africans. But for the most part, I'm taller than everybody else. I'm bigger than everybody else, most people. And so, I'm pretty confident in my capability to protect my family. So it would take some real people who really had some harm meant for my family in order to come in and harm me in some kind of way. So that's how I manage security here. And plus, I'm able to move into a neighborhood
that is rural, suburban, mostly families. We know our neighbors. Bonjour. But also this. Here's another thing you want to do, especially if you're an expat. One of the pitfalls of being an expat, I've heard online, is that many guys, especially expats, their complaint is that they'll have a set of friends, other expats, and then their friends are changing every 6 months to 2 years because people come and go. So I recognize that problem. Now, that me being an older person, family man, there is a real downside of being isolated, especially being white in a culture that's not my own. Now I have a family. Bella is very engaged with her family. So is Michelle. They live up in the village. And I purposely, now I try to do, the things I do, you know, I try to be intentional in everything I do. And that is, I've used this YouTube channel, or it's kind of worked out that way, to meet people. And I've met some great people. Even I met Pastor Kevin. I met my friend Marcel from Switzerland. I had another friend from Belgium. I've got another guy that's from Belgium also, and he has a family, and he's been living here for over 15 years. For instance, Marcel has his wife's Ivorian, and he moved in. So I'm intentionally making friends and keeping a social life with people who are not temporaries. Does that make sense? Because when I first got here, met like a guy that'd been here for like 5 years, but he was single. He was coming and going from France, and he has no real ties here, no family. And I eventually let that person go, because I don't want to be, you know, one of those, you know, just meeting people constantly. I don't have time for that. Also, but it's important, and I think that this is sort of where I'm going with this, is that you have to, as an expat, you have to have a network of people to fall back on. Not just for me, but I also want to be there for my friends, Marcel, Pastor Kevin. If there was something that they needed from me in some capacity, you know, because having the threat of political instability, for instance. Now, Cote d'Ivoire is fairly stable. However, they have had some significant political turmoil. They've had, like in Nigeria, they did have some terrorist activity back here as early as 2011, where Michelle was like, it was like there was threat of civil war and all this other stuff. There are some real dangers, and things can change very quickly in a developing country. It's not like in America where you have to worry about, you know, sure, they have some protesting and riots and stuff like that, depending on where you live. Every place is like, Rex, come here. So I try to keep in mind, so I don't have necessarily an exit plan. All I have, so I've taken steps, like I went and got Bella her citizenship. The reason why, even though I have no plans of bringing her into America anytime soon, if Michelle and I talked about it, if something were to happen politically, where the country destabilized very quickly and if we felt in danger, I would have her citizenship so that I could escape with Bella for her safety and mine, maybe. Now, if there was some political unrest, let's say kill the Boer, it's not like South Africa where there's, you know, farmers in danger and things like that. It's not that situation here. Here, they still like white people. And if there was political unrest, I'd probably generally be safe. But that doesn't mean that there couldn't be roving bands of marauders. I just don't know. I can't. And so I don't like to go. I don't want to live in fear, obviously. I don't live in fear. I feel very safe. You know, sure, when I'm downtown, I don't have my cell phone out. I keep it close to my pocket. The other night we got into a car accident in the taxi, and we ended up walking in a bad neighborhood. And I was with David, who's my expat friend, and we immediately took up protective posture with our families. He took the lead because he speaks French, and we were trying to get to a safe place. I took up the rear, protecting my daughter and Michelle, and he protected his wife and his daughter. So we had like a little protective caravan. That's what men do. Like, that's our job. Protect your family. So, and here's the funny thing about being a veteran, especially a combat veteran, and I've suffered PTSD for many years. I'm very hyper aware of my surroundings all the time. Sometimes that gets tiring, but also during those situations, I'm oddly calm. Like in a stressful situation, even when I got home invasion, I was oddly calm. So anyway, it's such an odd thing because I'm not doing anything. Like my life is not normal. It's normal, but it's not normal. There's a whole host of other problems and problems to be solved whenever you're living in a different country. There are things that have to be considered all the time, and I don't have every single thing planned out or wrapped up, or there's I'm secure in my finances because I bank in America. Rex. So anyway, see, this is why it's very difficult to make content. I have so many distractions, and it's very hard to put myself in a room for because even just making low effort content like this, because it's a low tech, low effort content. It's very hard for me to stay engaged for even an hour at a time. And honestly, video editing takes hours. Even simple videos like the video I put out yesterday took hours. Rewatch and editing, and it's very time consuming. It can be. So yeah, and here at a time in life, I'm 55 years old. This is the time that most people start to withdraw from society. They want to be alone. They don't want to be around people. They don't want to have friends. Their friends all betrayed them. They've been through divorce. I've experienced all those things. But something inside me, deep down, knows that once you disengage from life, once you start seeing everybody as untrustworthy, once you start seeing everybody as a threat, once you become numb to people's behavior, or numb to life, there's nothing, because most people at my age, their kids are grown, they're divorced, they're out of the house, or maybe they have a negative relationship with their children. All the things that come with aging and bitterness can really creep in. I myself am no stranger to bitterness and sadness and seeing the glass as half empty at times. So it's a struggle to stay engaged. But having a child now has helped me kind of overcome that, because now I live vicariously through my daughter. Like, if I was just, here's the other thing. If I wanted to, because of traveling over the last 7 years, dating beautiful women, going to different countries, I could probably make a whole YouTube channel just on women wearing scantily clad women.
Let me see.
Parties, having fun. I probably could do that. I can't put that stuff on YouTube now. I have terabytes of just I wasn't going to Cancun and partying and doing spring break type stuff, but I definitely was traveling and having fun and mingling with women and going out to clubs and bars. You kind of have to break a few eggs in order to find a relationship. And when you go overseas, plus you want to have fun. It's not like I could make it all business and I'm coming to find a wife. And but you have to transition yourself. Like, it was a real challenge for me as a 50-year-old man. And I went out and I dated 20-somethings and 30-somethings and hot women. You have to, like, I had to get in shape. I had to put my mindset into a happy-go-lucky, secure, confident man in order to do that. Of course, you have to. I gotta get in the shade here, man. It's hot. So there are things that I had to do. And then once I got what I wanted in Michelle, once I found I was sure, then it was, and she became pregnant, and then it was a transition from single guy going out and having fun, traveling, to now family man, responsible adult, and getting into that mindset again. And it's way more fulfilling. Like there's never a day that I've woken up in the last 2 years where I was like, what do I do today? What I have to do is provide and protect for my family. And it's enjoyable. Like I know some people don't want to have kids. I know people have told me, they've given me some valid reasons for that. And they'll say, oh wait, I noticed like I've got niece and nephews and all this other stuff. No, it's not the same. When you have a child, like the other day, this is what blows my mind, that people just have no idea about. But as a parent, I know that talking to your children is important, especially at Bella at her developmental stage. I explain everything I'm doing. I talk to her in a calm manner. I'm not saying I've never yelled, no, you don't pick that up. She grabbed the knife. No, like your parental, no, and reacting, whenever they do something, they might just get too close to a ledge of a sidewalk, or there's things that I don't like the way I react. I react, very alert, and it scares her, So aside from those times, I speak to Bella calmly. I explain things to her. I explain to her slowly what we're doing, even though I don't think she always understands. She understands more than you realize, because she just doesn't have the verbal capability to respond. Now, when she wants something, is da and don, give. But she understands a lot. So I try to explain to her. And when we were at the beach the other day, oh man, it was so, I don't know, I think I'll remember it for the rest of my life. And there's not too many times I can say that. But this is a moment where I told her, I said, hey Bella, Mommy and I have to walk. You're going to be okay. I'm going to do this, and we're going to get back up. We're going to get you dressed and bathed. And I spoke to her calmly and reassuringly. And she did something she had never done before. She looked at me with like love in her eyes. And she reached up and she just put her hand on my face like, I understand, Daddy. Like that was her way of, chokes me up just thinking about it. And I told Michelle about that, and she goes, oh, because see, I don't get that all the time. I'm Dada. See, she's still mama. Mama feeds her breast. Well, we're weaning her right now. And so it's been a little bit difficult. It's hard for Michelle. Their bond is very strong. And my bond is the fun guy, I don't feed her for the most part. I do change diapers, but I'm the dad that plays video games with her, paints with her, walks with her, has her interact with animals. But I'm also the disciplinarian. Not that I discipline her at all at this point. She's too young for that. Now it's just reactive. No, put that down. Put that knife down. Watch out for that hot pan. Something that she could get hurt. Or if she's going to hurt the animal, or if she's, So there's some things I need to improve on. Because sometimes I use those danger no's to when she's digging in Ginger, the cat's food, and putting it in the water. Like I just fed her. Oh, you're taking the food out. So, I'm not a perfect parent. Still trying to, balance my own reactive nature. I certainly don't have a temper or yell at Bella in that kind of way. I don't understand parents that do that. That's just maybe some people just aren't good parents. I think I'm a pretty damn good parent. Now, my first son probably won't say that because he's been damaged through the ex-wife who's demonized me for his entire life. He has no concept or no way to know that that's certainly not the case. And I think that's some of what my YouTube channel is about, showing my family life. It's about documenting my life in sort of a laissez-faire documentary or biography, I guess you could say. It gives me a way to leave a legacy. I don't know. I know that sounds crazy. Like, who gives a fuck about YouTube and having a legacy on YouTube? I think it's important because when I was a kid, I used to love looking through the photo albums of the family. Like, I had a real interest in that. I'm strongly connected to the past. I'm not saying I live in the past. I try not to live in the past. I try to be present, you know. I try to be very aware, self-aware. I know what my shortcomings are. I don't think overly highly of myself, although I am confident in who I am, and that just comes with age, right? You know, I know who I am. I know what my values are, and I see that reflected back in the people that I keep company with. I keep company with people who I genuinely think are good and decent people, and they have me in their life too. So what is that tells you something that can also be a feedback from what you're putting out. I try to be kind to others. Now there are certain times where, you know, I have to temper that. You know, I can't just give to everything. You know, I can only give so much of myself. But like for instance, I'll tell you one story and then it'll be the end of the video. So I met a man who is from the UK. And he met me, I met him through my YouTube channel. He's 58 years old. He has a child he has with an Ivorian woman here. He's divorced. He had just bought a house here in Bingerville. It's very sad, by the way. We went to the park together because I try to interact with other people with families. And so anyway, I didn't really like the guy that much because I had asked him out a few times. And he was, oh, I can't do that because I don't want my girlfriend. She'd get mad if I go out and have a beer. Like she was very controlling and possessive, and I lost respect for him in a certain sense. But your choice of friends here are limited. But I didn't really care for him that much because I don't like a man who cowers in front of his woman. If you're going to be, I'm very traditional or I'm very conservative when it comes to that. If you're going to have a family, you need to be the leader. You can't be having your woman telling you what you can and can't do. To me, that is just recipe for disaster. Okay, so let me just say that. Now, I'm not speaking ill of the man. I'm just saying the things I was noticing as I was meeting him in our friendship. Trying to develop a friendship. So, and he had some other things that I didn't really respect that was going on. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. So anyway, we became friends. Now, he was a contractor for the military. And he would go up to, he was involved in the Ukraine war. He was building these mine clearing machines. And he was up near the front lines. So he was kind of in danger. But he's also profiting. Now, I kind of have a moral stance on, I don't support the war in Ukraine. I think there's some politics going on there that are beyond people's understanding. But all I know, the bottom line is people are dying unnecessarily, in my opinion. And I don't think in good conscience I could go and participate, even as a civilian, from one side or the other. I just think that's a profiting from war, making your living from war, which with what he did for 20 years. I don't have a clear I couldn't do that. That's just me, okay? And so anyway, he went to, so he's got, and he chose an African woman that was a little bit older, that had a kid, and she didn't work. She has no education, no way of supporting herself, and he was supporting her because he made a lot of money. You know, he was making well over six figures because they pay those guys very well. And he went up there, and when I went back to California last October, I called him, and well, it turns out he suddenly died. He was up in Ukraine, had some kind of a heart infection, and just passed away. Now, I have some suspicions that, because he was telling me about all the COVID jabs he gets, and he was required to get every booster. They are required to have all these vaccinations, and then all of a sudden he just develops a heart problem, which is one of the side effects of some of those things. I know I'll probably get my video blocked for saying this stuff. That's just my suspicion. So there are consequences to being tied to government jobs and things like that, and it's not good. So anyway, his wife then began calling me because everyone thinks I'm rich. Oh, and she thinks that we're like best friends. And so she's a widow now, and I felt very bad. We called her, gave her condolences, and she was asking for money. I think we sent her money on several occasions because they have a child. And then once we gave her money, then she kept asking. Now she has a beautiful house. The guy bought her a house, so she already has a leg up over other Africans, and that she has a house. Like most African people who live in shacks or struggling. She had a paid-for house. She could go out and work. She had a housekeeper at one time. She probably had to get rid of that. And so she was struggling, and we really felt for her. And So we did give her a little bit of money, but then she kept asking, and then I went through just recently. Michelle had a miscarriage, and had to go to the hospital, which was, we're okay. It happens. I'm expecting it. Michelle and I are older. Sometimes you have those fertility issues, and so we're dealing with that. But the woman was asking for money while Michelle was at the hospital going through her miscarriage, and Michelle's like, "I don't have it. I had to come to the hospital. I'm sick." And the woman didn't care. Michelle kind of conveyed to me that she was like, "Oh, you're in the hospital? Yeah, but I need money. Can you send me money right now? I need money for my son." We'd already sent her several thousand SIFA, and she was and then she hung up on her rudely. Now, of course, Michelle's not gonna. We're not criticizing her away. I know she's going through pain. Her husband's been dead for over 6 months now. She's probably struggling, and I feel for her, but my hands are tied. I don't know what can I do. I can't support every widow that comes around, and I barely knew the guy. Like, we'd only seen each other 2 times. One time at Burger King, and one time we went to the park. So it's not like we're family. I have no obligation. But there's not. But I know that she has a house, and so I know she's going to be okay. Now, if she needed a place to live, she probably would be welcome at my house. I would have took her in it had she needed it. But she doesn't need that. She just wanted money to make ends meet, which I understand, but I couldn't. So there's limited, I have limited power in what I'm able to do. Anyway, so those things happen, and it was very sad. So anyway, I don't know. That's the video. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. I have future plans to make more videos, to show more interesting content. I wish there was something I could add, but right now my niche is I'm a white American starting a family. I'm in Africa. There aren't that many Americans here. I can kind of give you a boots on the ground assessment of what's going on here. I can keep you up on news or political issues going on here. What the cost of living is. If there's any questions that you want to ask me, I'm certainly available. I'll answer almost every comment that comes in the comment sections. But right now I'm trying to grow so I can see what direction I can take this. Maybe I'll start doing some live streams where I'm with my family. Right now I'm doing live streams where I just game because I'm just following my interest and what I have time to do. And those are the things I have time to do and the things that I have, interest me. I don't live a glamorous Instagram model lifestyle. We're very basic. Like a lot of people in the Philippines, they have these nice houses and compound. They've got this beautiful wife, and they've got this lifestyle that people just would like to see. I don't have that kind of life. Mine is a more grounded, real life situation going on. Now, I'm very proud to say that I have a beautiful family, and I love Michelle, and I love Bella. I love my friends, and I'm trying to strike a balance in everything. So if this content interests you, or if there's anything that you'd like to talk about, if there's something you'd like to see, there are plenty of videos on Cote d'Ivoire that you can see if you want to see the mega church that's here, the oceans, the beautiful scenery. But for the most part, I'm just going to be able to be a boots on the ground type person that I'm very accessible. So if you want to talk to me, if you want to meet in the YouTube comments, it'd be great. And if you're moving to Cote d'Ivoire or Bingerville or in the area, you can certainly contact me. And we can, if we have similar interests, family or whatever, or events or localized trips that you want to take, certainly contact me and we can talk. All right. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.